Summoners, the first match of the semi-finals, best out of 5. GutsTheBERSERK versus SEIISHIZO. Pre-bans are in, the Masha and the Lima are banned.
No surprise at all that the Lima has been banned. I'm fully expecting a rotation between Gianna and Lima being pre-banned from GutsTheBERSERK. Of course, SEIISHIZO doesn't want to deal with the Masha. Masha is a scary unit.
SEIISHIZO picking up that Oliver very quickly, locks it in for the first slot.
Is GutsTheBERSERK going to try and contest for speed or bring some units that are going to counter SEIISHIZO's draft? It looks like he's trying to do the latter with those two pickups.
GutsTheBERSERK goes with the Praha first pick, Vertihill second pick, SEIISHIZO responding with the Gianna and the Hagang in second and third unit.
It does look like that SEIISHIZO is really committing to this turn 1, bringing double strippers to set up for the Oliver. This is the chance for GutsTheBERSERK to bring some really hard counters to these units on the field.
GutsTheBERSERK picking up the Juno and the Riley for third and fourth unit. We see the Lima's banned there. If we see a Sierra, we have a Rainbow Oracles match here. So many Oracles on drafted so far.
Indeed, I really like the Juno. I think Juno counters all of SEIISHIZO's units pretty well. But at the same time, that is just one counter. With these aggressive picks that SEIISHIZO is bringing out, GutsTheBERSERK is going to have to think about what else he can do to disrupt SEIISHIZO's draft.
And SEIISHIZO brings out a Poseidon fourth unit. Charlotte as a fifth unit, locks that in. He's done drafting. GutsTheBERSERK, how will he respond with the final unit? Goes Antares. We see Antares getting locked in as his fifth unit.
I do like the Antares pack. He's signaling that he's going to ban out the Poseidon because the Poseidon does really well against all of the fire units on GutsTheBERSERK side of the field.
There we go, Poseidon, Antares, both get banned. Resistance leads for GutsTheBERSERK, speed lead for SEIISHIZO. Semi-finals, ladies and gentlemen, the first set, here we are.
I think this Charlotte is going to do a lot of work for SEIISHIZO. If Charlotte manages to successfully stun the Riley and the Praha, then that is going to make things quite tricky for SEIISHIZO.
Hey gang, with the strip and stun for the whole team. Wow, Oliver, mega impulse gun into the Praha, putting Praha's attack bar back to 0. Charlotte with the glancing and attack bar increase and decrease on the enemy team. Impulse gun into the Riley. Riley's attack bar not looking too healthy. Gianna taking skill 1 into that Praha.
Things are looking really good for SEIISHIZO. His Oliver and just his team in general is just so fast because the Juno, even with the speed buff that Hagang gave her, was not able to cut in between his team. And now, if this Riley gets taken out, that sustain is gone, and then GutsTheBERSERK is going to be in a really tricky position.
That Charlotte earlier taking out that Praha after sleeping her 2 times because she slept her cooldown for her skill 3 has been reduced. She was able to do skill 3, attack bar decrease and increase. Gianna with the bomb again, goes on the Vertihill, skill 1 into the Juno, stunning that Juno. Oliver, impulse gun into Riley. Riley has not had a turn. Hagang pushing the Juno attack bar back.
I feel like this Charlotte has been a real MVP for SEIISHIZO in this match. I also want to point out though that I don't think the Vertihill has been the best pick for GutsTheBERSERK. I don't think the Vertihill has done very much because SEIISHIZO brought out the Hagang, which already sort of counters the Vertihill, and as we see, Vertihill has been stunned, he's got glancing on him, and he's just offering nothing. Juno is the only unit that could have helped him out, and Juno is gone.
There we go, mega impulse gun into that Riley. Riley has not taken a turn today. Impulse gun into Vertihill. Vertihill done nothing. This game looks pretty well decided. SEIISHIZO taking that first set of the semi-finals, but it's not decided yet because it is a best out of 5.
It's not decided yet, but I mean, such a strong start from SEIISHIZO there. Another dispatching. I mean, was it a bad selection in the pick and bans from Guts there? Or was it just SEIISHIZO having the advantage from the get-go, just down to those units we've talked about here, Bals, that are just so roomed up, so strong?
I mean, the tools that SEIISHIZO has at its disposal are honestly endless, and it is very difficult for GutsTheBERSERK as a turn 2 player to survive all of the aggression that SEIISHIZO brings. I do think, like I said, the Vertihill could have been swapped out for something that could have disrupted SEIISHIZO's draft a little bit more. Maybe something like a Sekhmet or an Ethna that can actually move before SEIISHIZO's team. But at the same time, it is really hard to stop SEIISHIZO because he's just such a smooth drafter these days.
Yeah, it just goes to show, though. I mean, that's what a lot of these rising stars that obviously are coming through that we haven't really heard much about thus far, who this is their first SWC, the amount they're going to learn over the course of the last year, like it seems that SEIISHIZO has done in 1 year. Obviously, this kind of experience being here makes a massive difference to proceedings. So we'll have to wait and see if Guts can turn this one around here and get back into it, because being 2-0 down going into a best of 5 is not great. Come on, Guts, you got this. Let's head over to the picking bands once more.
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Pre-bans are in. Oliver gets the pre-ban. Gianna gets the pre-ban. Very interesting. Both players, few seconds to decide how they will draft up.
I'm not surprised at all about the Gianna pre-ban. I did think that GutsTheBERSERK was going to rotate between those oracles. SEIISHIZO doesn't want Guts to grab the speed lead.
Here we go, GutsTheBERSERK with first pick Marsha locked in. SEIISHIZO, Lima, and Miles for the first and second unit.
That is an early Miles, but it does counter the Masher quite well, and it synergizes well with the Lima. It looks like SEIISHIZO is showing the adaptability that he's able to bring, because last time he had kind of a turn 1 control draft. This time around, he's bringing a little bit more sustain with the Molly and the Nana.
GutsTheBERSERK with the Praha for the second unit and Merlong third unit. SEIISHIZO picking up that Nana and Molly for the third and fourth unit. GutsTheBERSERK flashes that Tessarion.
If Guts has a Dominic, this would be an excellent time to bring him out. Also, Mephisto would do quite well against SEIISHIZO's draft as well. SEIISHIZO overall not representing very much damage. In fact, I don't really like having both Molly and Nana on the field. I think you only really need one of them, and the rest of your field should be more damage, because Nana needs her units to do damage to help her out.
There we go, GutsTheBERSERK goes with the Tessarion, fourth unit, Riley, fifth unit. SEIISHIZO, final unit, brings out that Wusa. Nana gets the ban. Praha gets the ban. Who will pick for what speed lead?
So SEIISHIZO has banned out the primary stripper from GutsTheBERSERK. GutsTheBERSERK, I would have banned out the Lima or the Miles rather than Nana, because otherwise SEIISHIZO doesn't have very much damage in order to give the Nana additional stacks.
Here we go. Miles taking that first turn. Where will the damage be directed to? Will it be that Tessa goes into the Marsha? Failing to stun her. Riley cuts in. Puts that attack buff up.
This is the power of SEIISHIZO's runes. He is so fast, and he's managed to cut in between GutsTheBERSERK's team. Lima bringing that up, that invincibility, so that GutsTheBERSERK's Molong, along with his Tessarion and Masher, can't snipe a unit turn 1, and he's going to have to wait a little bit. However, SEIISHIZO doesn't have any resets, so the Molong still has the Reckless Assault up, and he will get a chance to use the Reckless Assault later on. The question is, which unit is he going to take out first? Maybe the Lima.
Here we go, Merlong with the Reckless Assault. Where will he direct the damage? Goes into the Lima just like Boss predicted. Tessarion follows up into that Lima. Lima resistance because of immunity and survives just by an inch.
Oh my goodness, the Molly cutting in between the Masher and the other units, and all of those revenges from Lima have been so crucial for SEIISHIZO to sustain his team. And it looks like this Masher is about to get dismounted, and the tide is starting to turn in SEIISHIZO's favor.
Here we go, Lima putting in some serious damage into that Marsha. Merlong only skill 1 available, does not get an additional turn. Tessa skill 1 into Lima. The Lima Revengers gets attacked by increase. Wow, Molly into that Marsha. Marsha out of this game.
This Lima is revenging over and over again. I wonder if it's a triple revenge Lima rather than a violent revenge Lima, because it's just happened so many times. And I have to question if GutsTheBERSERK should have actually focused the Lima. I mentioned the Lima because obviously the Lima is weaker to Tessarion and the Masher, whereas the Miles struggles a little bit more to be taken out by those units. But he could have tried to focus the Molly instead, potentially, or just go for the Miles and hope for the crit.
Here we go. Lima with skill 2 landing that triple slow on the enemy team. Miles additional turn goes into Merlong, resistance with the stun. Tessa triple crush onto the Molly, failing to land Oblivion. High resistance. Dragon's Dance onto SEIISHIZO's team. No units have been stripped or stunned.
I do wonder if this Tessarion is going to be able to make a comeback, but I really don't think that's possible. The Miles bringing out that consistent damage every turn. His damage, his speed, and his damage, which scales with speed, fixed damage, being benefited from the Wusa's buffs, from the Riley's buffs, and we just see him just going at the Tessarion. The Tessarion actually didn't take that much, so it's probably on minus water, but at the same time, Just such a strong effort from SEIISHIZO once again. I did question his lack of damage, but at the same time, the Limo just went absolutely nuts in this match, didn't it, Killer?
Yes, it did. Oh, that Tessa goes to sleep with Wusa's skill 1, but this Lima's working over time. Miles with that fixed damage onto that Tessa. Tessa not looking very well right now. Molly goes with the strip. Succeeds to strip that immunity.
Indeed, I do wonder if Guts had banned out that Lima instead of the Nana, this outcome of this match will be looking really different. Because the thing is, the Nana, he does bring a defense break, but the defense break doesn't really synergize with the rest of his team anyway, because both Wusa and Miles do fixed damage. So if he's banned out the Lima, which does benefit a little bit more from the defense break, SEIISHIZO probably would have struggled a lot more to take out any of Guts' units, and Guts could have just kept chipping away with the Tessarian to land Oblivion on the Nana as well, and land Oblivion on the other units, but no, that's not the case, and SEIISHIZO is about to wrap up this win.
There we go, that start and end from Lima, keeping SEIISHIZO healthy throughout the match, taking it to 2-0 out of a best out of 5 match.
Yeah, felt very much from the get-go there. SEIISHIZO again had control. We could see there at the end of the match, if there's anything you can tell that SEIISHIZO is absolutely got the upper hand right now. It's almost max health for every single monster, which in itself, Baus, is it just tells exactly the story of what's going on right now, which is SEIISHIZO is just too darn strong.
Precisely. The Molly was able to sustain his team so much, and like I said, I think GutsTheBERSERK could have thought about leaving the Nana in, because the Nana and the Molly have a bit of anti-synergy. I don't feel like you need both of them on the field, but at the same time, in this next match, GutsTheBERSERK is going to be able to pre-ban that Lima, because this Lima just did so much work for SEIISHIZO, revenging over and over. I'm sure GutsTheBERSERK isn't going to want to be able to deal with that Lima again.
Yeah, I mean, for you guys at home as well, GutsTheBERSERK, whatever happens here, if this does go to 3-0, he will definitely be in next weekend's losers bracket. Don't worry about that. He's still in the competition, can still qualify. But right now, Killer, what does Guts do pick and ban wise? What does he have to do here in game to ensure a place to at least remain in this competition today?
Well, if he bans out the Lima, then he's got the Gianna. Then if he bans out the Gianna, he's got the Lima. So, I don't know. There's not much you can do right now.
You pretty much hit the nail on the head there, Halo.
Indeed. Let's see how this goes. The pick and bans. Here it is.
Here we are, guys. Pre-bans were in. We got the Masha and the Lima that are pre-banned. SEIISHIZO picking up that Oliver for the first unit.
No surprise at all about the Lima pre-ban. The Masha pre-ban makes a lot of sense as well, especially because SEIISHIZO wanted to pick up that Oliver, and Masha is an excellent counter to the Oliver.
There we go. GutsTheBERSERK with the early Vertiheel again, with the first pick Vertiheel potentially, and the Praha as the second unit.
That is so interesting that the GutsTheBERSERK likes the Vertiheel so much. It probably means it's a violent Vertiheel potentially, rather than a triple revenge Vertiheel.
SEIISHIZO drafting that Hagang and the Gianna for the second and third unit. GutsTheBERSERK picking up that Riley and the Leo for the third and the fourth unit.
SEIISHIZO's draft is looking awfully familiar at the moment, but this time round, I don't think he'll pick the Poseidon, because GutsTheBERSERK has switched things up a little bit and picked up the Leo instead of the Juno a bit earlier on. So SEIISHIZO might have to think about mixing things up a little bit, bringing out a counterfeit Leo like that Ken. That's a really good choice, actually.
I'm curious to know if that Ken is a Leah counter, which with 0 speed and just pure stats. Ken gets locked in for the fourth unit for SEIISHIZO's side, and the Dominic, the final unit for SEIISHIZO's side. GutsTheBERSERK, one more unit to pick.
SEIISHIZO is in such a privileged position to have access to all of these premium units. Not only the 2 Oracles, but the Dominic as well, which is such a powerful unit too that GutsTheBERSERK isn't able to take.
GutsTheBERSERK brings out an Arya.
Wow.
Arya gets the ban. She's the threat. Gets the ban. Dominic gets the ban. Here we are, guys. Speed lead for SEIISHIZO. Defense lead for GutsTheBERSERK. Match point for SEIISHIZO. Will GutsTheBERSERK get a comeback?
Oh, that was incredible. Bring out that Arya, and being a must-ban unit, GutsTheBERSERK has a lot of interesting tools at his disposal despite the lack of premium units, and we got to see another one of those being picked just now.
Here we go, Hagang with the strip and the glancing on that Vertiheel and that Praha. Gianna, bomb. Where are you going to put it? Puts the bomb on the Praha. Skill 1, where will you put your damage? Puts it on Riley, stacks up that Riley. Mega Impulse gun into that Praha. Resets the attack bar, increases the cooldown of his skill 3.
I'm to see the damage of Ken, and I think this Ken is going to do some serious work.
Oh, that damage into Vertihill almost taking him out. Vertihill not looking too healthy right now. Impulse gun taking out that Vertihill. Oliver doing some serious work. Gianna, skill 1 into that Praha. Leah takes a turn onto that Oliver. Ken, skill 1 onto the Riley.
There we have seen the power of an interesting tech. The Ken, 0 speed, max damage, a really nice counter for the Leo. Viewers watching, if they've got a Ken lying around, rune him up with maybe some rage, will runes, a bit slow, a bit tanky, and he can do exactly what SEIISHIZO has done.
Gianna landing more bombs on the enemy team. GutsTheBERSERK not looking too healthy right now. Impulse gun, mega impulse gun on that Riley, pushing her attack bar. Impulse gun into that Leah. Oh, this Leah in torrent range, but I believe he was reset, but he's also out of this match. Wow, clean sweep from SEIISHIZO. Riley against 4 units.
Incredible effort from SEIISHIZO, and he's just gonna wrap this up so smooth.
Absolute masterclass from SEIISHIZO, who books a place in the Europe Cup in Berlin in September with a 3-0 victory over GutsTheBERSERK. I mean, guys,